Hello everybody, welcome back to the game room. This is Digger, and I'm not making him do this. He likes to do it, so we'll see how long he stays there. Hello everybody, welcome back to the game room. I have built something new for this room, and today I'm going to reveal it to you, and I'm going to install it. So let's head into it. Before I get into it, just a couple of housekeeping items to tell you about. First of all, this channel is not monetized yet. One of the qualifications is to reach 4,000 watch hours. This is only my 6th video, so it's going to be a while before I can reach that. But if you wish to help me out and get there faster, just make sure you've watched all 6 videos. I created a playlist and I'll put it in the description below. I do realize that it's been at least 12 days since my last video on this channel. That's mainly because I was working on a different video for this channel, but had a major setback. One of the systems behind me, the new one, broke down in the middle of that video, and that video featured that system prominently. So I have a new one on the way, and when it arrives, I'll finish that video up. And now for the subject matter of today. In order for you to understand it, you have to understand this room, and most of you probably know what's going on in this room. But if not, I'll explain. I have a lot of different game systems hooked up to the TVs in this room in a way that allows me to just go up and play them pretty much anytime I want to. I try to keep the cords organized, and one of the ways I do that is with these little trays that I have under a lot of the systems. They help me tuck away the controller cords and align everything so that the system looks more presentable. They do have some drawbacks though. There's a ridge that goes along the edge, and in some cases it obscures the view of the system. Plus, since the tray is black and a lot of the systems are black, it makes them hard to see sometimes. These also accumulate a lot of dust on the inside because of how enclosed it is. Another drawback is that I can only put 2 of these per shelf. There's not enough room for 3 of those trays. I've put things in between them and it works out fine. Like the Ouya right here, I would rather have those things look like the other systems in this room. But the biggest drawback is that I'm out of them. They can be found on the internet, but they're kind of costly because I think no one has manufactured them in a while. But I really need some right now because I have a new system over there that has corded controllers, and I don't have anything like this to set them on. I also have some other systems that are sitting directly on the shelf, and I would like to elevate them. So basically, I need more of those trays. I don't have them, so I need to build my own trays. I've already done that before for the mini consoles, and I want to show you that tray before I talk about the new trays that I built. So here are my mini systems. I created these shelves maybe 1 or 2 years ago. They have room to tuck the cords underneath, but there's also a gap behind each of these mini systems that allow me to tuck the wires that are coming out the back of each one, so it hides the wires a little bit. This isn't a good design to use for the big systems because, for one thing, I don't need that little gap in the back because the big systems obscure their own wires that are in the back for the most part. I need it to be bigger and without the gap, basically. You'll also notice on this older one that the screw heads are kind of coming out of the top a little bit. I don't want that to happen on the new one. I want to improve how I do that part. But the biggest mistake I made was making it red to match the walls. There is already way too much red in this room. So the new one, I'm going to make a totally different color to make it stand out from the red. But overall, the new one is going to resemble this one. It's going to have some of the same measurements for certain pieces of it. So I made 3 new trays total, and I'm going to put them right here, and right here. And they're going to be right above where the mini consoles were at the bottom. The Series X, I'm probably going to have to display it sideways in order to get it to fit into the shelf once I have the pedestal underneath. But the main reason I'm making these trays is that I still might buy consoles in the future, and a lot of those may have cords for the controllers. So I want to be able to prepare for that and have the ability to display more than what you see here. Now, if I like the new trays, I might make more of them, and I may just replace all the black trays in this room. So I went to the store to buy some wood and I cut it down to fit the shelf. And I found these smaller pieces of wood that I already had on hand and I cut those to size so they could be attached to the bottom of this board in a way that opens up a gap to tuck the controller cords underneath for the consoles that have those cords. It's a very simple design, and that's what I want. I don't want to spend all day doing this. As I mentioned, I wanted to make sure there were no screws sticking up out of the wood, so I bought a new drill bit that helps me do that. It basically hides the head of the screws. I then bought some blue paint, and this is the exact color if you can read that stuff. And I put on a couple of coats of that. It's a semi-gloss indoor paint. So now let me show it to you. Okay, so here it is. It's kind of hard to get into frame here, but it's, like I said, it's as wide as the shelf, and it's going to fit up there like this. There's a few glops of paint on it that rolled down where the paint kind of formed a trail, but it's not going to matter. So I'm going to go ahead and install these. Okay, so I thought it turned out well. I do have some things that I don't like about it. For instance, the gap where you tuck the controllers in is a little bit too high for these Retron controllers here. I probably should have made the ledge a little bit lower just for those controllers there. But these could go anywhere in the room, so it doesn't really matter. Also, when I'm sitting down in the chair and looking up here, I can see underneath and see all the cords that are underneath there. I kind of want to hide the cords, so I may come up with a solution for that in the future, such as a board to put up front there. I also don't like the fact that I have to set the Xbox Series X on its side. It just totally doesn't look good on its side. It looks like one of those fake systems you order off Amazon from China or whatever. The stand is still stuck on it, and that is removable, but you do have to go inside, so I'll have to do that. I may end up moving the system somewhere else in the setup so that it can stand straight up. But I might get used to it. One thing I do like about these, which I didn't consider before, is how bright they are in dark conditions. I think that's kind of cool. It almost glows in the dark. So I'm going to put some thought into these, and if I'm still liking them a few weeks from now, I'm probably going to start making more of them and put them in other places of in the room. In the meantime, this setup is ready for additional systems to be added. They can be put in between these other ones. These can be pushed aside like this to make room for other ones. And like I said, I do have one sitting in the room over there, which I'm going to install at a later date. All right, well, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about what's going on in this room and the reason I built it and stuff like that, watch my QA video, which is on the screen right now. May your games make you happy and smart, and may people respect you for playing them. So long, everybody.